Welcome along to Off the Leash, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with Premier Greyhound Racing, episode 66, not one but two huge nights of Greyhound Racing on the PGR service this week. Thursday night, the Northern Flat and Angel of the North semi-finals, and two huge competitions kick off on Saturday night at Hove, the Premier Greyhound Racing Regency, £20,000 the winner there. And one of the big four Ben competitions of the year, the Coral Sussex Cup over the 515, both down at Hove. As ever, open race correspondent at the Racing Post, Tony Bullen, joins us. What a time to be alive, Tony.
Yeah, I must admit, the two competition at Hove are fantastic renewals. I think there are going to be a few very short price favourites in quite a few of the heats on Saturday. But if the cream does rise to the top, could be three interesting semi-finals next weekend.
Yeah, 15 times champion trainer Mark Wallace is going to be among the winners on Saturday night. No two ways about that. He's got some short price fancies at Hove, and of course, really good action at Newcastle on Thursday. But we'll start with Hove on Saturday night. A reminder that you are here, of course, on the Racing Post YouTube channel. We've got all sorts going on this week. The Open Championship kicks off on Thursday. Steve Palmer in the sweet spot will give you everything you need to know on the golf this week. Racing Post ringside, our boxing preview show for the big fight at Wembley Stadium on Saturday night. Usyk against Dubois. And of course, as ever, all your horse racing needs as well. So a massive week of sport, including ground racing, and we've got you covered here. So get involved, jump in the comments section. Remember to like and comment, subscribe, get involved. We want to hear from you. Have you been backing winners? Who'd you fancy this week? Will all these skinny ones win at Hove this week? Do let us know. Drop a comment below. Let's go straight to Hove then, Tony. We'll start 695 metres. No hiding places here.
No, for sure. It takes some getting. I always remember when Patches Kerry won the golden jacket and didn't stay the 695 metres at Hove. So that tells you how testing the 695 is.
Stamina required in this year's £20,000 Premier Greyhound Racing Regency. Let's jump straight in then. Heat number one, which will be the first race on the card. It's going to be one hell of a night of racing. You've got 6 Regency heats and then 6 Sussex Cup heats. 6:08 is the opener. Brett and Molly 5-4. Razzle Dazzle Amanda 25s. Lily's Bullet 6s. Bombay Nutty Evans, who was a golden jacket runner-up for, of course, champion trainer Mark Wallace. 5 is vacant. Tato Komodo in the stripes here at 14-1. First out the boxes, not just with outright prices, but also heat prices. Both Corals and Ladbrokes. A fair play to them once again. First of the skinny ones for the champion trainer Mark Wallace in the MWD partnership. Is this one you could oppose, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, it does look a pick-em, to be true, between 4 and 1. I mean, Brett and Molly's contested at the highest level on her travels, but I do like this Bombay Nutty dog. I think he's moved well in the trial. Admittedly, that was over the 5:15. He won an egg and spoon race at Toaster last time. It was 5-1 on, but did the business. The time was okay. I think he can get first run on these, Dave, and that should be that. Although one will keep him honest throughout.
Okay, right, let's move on then. 6:26 at Hove, heat number 2, and the first of the very skinny ones here. Sole choice, 8, Romeo Empire, 6 is on. Rules for some, 8. All right, Irene, 12s. 5 is vacant. 6 is Kate Spot at 25-1. 4 from 4 over 6 bends. A star has been born over 6 bends. Always shaped like he was going to be a nice dog over 6 bends for Patrick Janssens. And, of course, David Firmiger. I don't think this is a dog that can be opposed, but what do you make of him?
Well, he's yet to be tested over a distance. He's stepping up in distance. Did the business on Derby final night at Toaster and has reeled off a hat-trick in good style over course and distance. Again,
I mean, let's bring in, while you're talking, Tony, we'll bring in his most recent effort, 41.85 out of Trap 2. This was last week in a trial stake for the Regency, beating Rules for Some, who reopposes here, and Art Riddler. So 2-1-4, 41.85. And this was, as you say, he's 4 from 4 now over 6 bends.
Yeah, he's yet to be tested. And again, they say you can't burn the candle at both ends, but this dog's doing that at the moment. He's showing good early pace. He's putting himself in front, and none of the opposition have really been able to get on terms with him. And as I say, he looks like he's taken to the track. He sees out the trip really well, and if he can put up some fast fractions for the first 4 or 5 bends, it's going to take a good one to fetch him in.
Yeah, he starts and he stays. He's 6 on here. We're going to pick our way through the heats, but they've all missed each other, haven't they? These big guns.
Yeah, they have. I mean, that's the thing. It's going to be as a betting side of things. A few punters will probably do the old short price accumulators, but how many times you seen that one of the 5-1 on shots or 4-1 on shots gets beat? So I think it's more of a watching brief as rather than a punting card. I'd throw 3 in as the forecast link here. Rules for some. I think a little bit of a chasey type.
Yeah, he obviously banged out last week in the race we just saw there as well, and gave the Empire a little bit something to think about going into the first turn, but ultimately far too good. Of course, the Guardian has meant that all of Patrick's dogs and Dave Firmage's dogs have missed each other, and of course, all the MWD, Mike Davis, Mark Wallace dogs have all missed each other as well. So that would be why they're spread out. Right, let's move on to Heat 3 and the anti-post favourite on show here, winner of the TV trophy, winner of the Golden Jacket, Mongies Wild. This is the 6:42 on Saturday night at Hove. If you're going to watch just one race, it might just have to be this one because he is a superstar. Tuano Bella on the inside at 6s, Droopy's Event 7s, Mongies Wild 6 on, Best Miney 50s, 5 is vacant, Miss Sid at 16-1. We'll jump straight into the VT. This was the Golden Jacket final over the 684 at Monmore, beating Bombay Nuttu, we've just spoken about in the first heat, and Radical Scobie. 164, 40 42, track record smashed to pieces. This is a star.
Oh, without that, he's got some engine on him, Dave. He's a bit of everything. If he was a car, he'd be a Rolls Royce, a Mercedes, on a 4x4 because he just crushes the opposition. He's got speed, he's got cruise control. His only defeat did come at Monmore over the 684 metres, but this dog's got it all. When he sees daylight and he gets into a rhythm, wow, he's a joy to watch in full flight.
Yeah, we spoke earlier about the demands of this 695. Not a problem. The further he goes, the better he looks.
Yeah, well, the TV trophy wasn't an issue for him, and that was over an extreme marathon distance. Yeah, he's got it all. He's going to come into this event relatively fresh, and I think track and trip's right up his street. And with daylight, he is the one to beat without a shadow of a doubt. Two's probably going to pin one onto the rails on the initial run of the turn. Droopy's Invent is a dog that takes the pain off the rails. He's just instantly looking for the inside line as soon as the traps are open, but this is all about what Mongies Wild does time-wise and the manner of the win, I think, Dave.
Yeah, that is a slight concern of mine, 2 pinning one to defence, because one's a bitch I've been keeping a really close eye on recently. She's been running well over 4 bends. She's been brought back by Paul Donovan, who I think is a brilliant trainer. And she stepped up to 6 bends last weekend, and she was absolutely brilliant. And if she can bang out and get away from Droopy's Event, get first run on him, which I think she can, what she's been showing over 4 bends, and she is quite trappy. She's got the inside line. Then I think that looks like a really good bet, the forecast, because she will race away, race clear. This is a St. Ledger finalist. I think she was a finalist in the Golden Jacket last year as well. So she's got a bit of class about her. She's not going to hold Mongies Wild coming home, but she'll certainly give him something to aim at. And I think if she can just trap, looks a really good forecast there. That's a bet I like a lot. Right, let's move on then. Heat 4, 6:59. And another Mark Wallace runner here, fancied in the 4 at 2-1. But let's go down the card. Ivy Hill Cherry 12s, Swift Jarvis 6s, Comanche 3s, New In Cloud 2s, Proper Dangerous 7-2, All Right Goldie 4-1. This is Heat 4, the 6:59 at Hove. We're not staring at a short price fancy here, Tony. So who takes your eye?
No, this is a race I think you could run numerous times and get a different result, Dave. I'm going to be with 6. I like 6. I mean, he's a dog that you just throw him into the van and he'll run his heart out for you, whatever the distance, whatever the track. And I just think that at the prices, Dave Lewis's charge, he'll give you a run for your money. He stays really well. He doesn't give up the chase. I thought he might be the answer to a very, very tricky 4th heat.
Yeah, he's a nice type. His game is genuine, and he's trained as a lovely man as well, Dave Lewis. So we wish him well. All right, Goldie, that looks a big price, doesn't it? 4-1. I'm going to take a chance on one here. At Proper Dangerous. Again, I'm part of the Paul Donovan fan club. But I saw this dog run on Saturday night over 4 bends, paced up nicely, and just kept going. And I thought there's definitely a chance here to at least cut loose early doors. So at 7-2. The trainer is no mug, so the fact this one's going over the 695, they obviously fancy this one's going to stay. Could go well a bit of a price there. So I'll buy with the 5. Tony's going with the 6. All right, Goldie. Heat 5 then. And another skinny one, 2-7 in the 5 here. This is a 7.16 at Hove. Heat 5. Born a Parachute on the inside. 5-1. The Romford Radar. Crafty Prospero, 8. Owl Smasher, 16s. Barbie Bullet, owned by Katie Price, 20-1. Vigar, 2-7. Dazzle Rolex, 20-1. 2-7. The good thing here, Tony, is it just a nod to the very, very talented Vigar and we move on, or is there more to it?
No, I think she continues that excellent spell since stepping up in distance. I mean, she was always a bitch crying out for a step up in distance, and she's made a very smooth transition to the 6 bends. All right, it's been a toaster. It's new territory, but I can't see it being an issue, Dave. I think she can get to the front by the 3rd bend, be in front of the winning line first time around, and you'd expect that to be that.
Yeah, she starts and stays. 2-7 there. The good thing in the 5. Let's move on to Heat 6 then. 7.33. Minstrel 6. 10-1. Art Riddler 4-1. Garfinny Blaze 4-7. Gothic Kitty 7s. Dazzle Twink Star 33s. Borrow Clips 7-1. Heat 6. 7.33. And Garfinny Blaze 4-7. It turned over at 1-12 at Sheffield last time out, but twice as a Zarich winner. One, of course, won the George Curtis Ballyregan Bob Memorial back end of last year over course and distance. A dog that oozes class. If you can forgive the run at Sheffield, 4-7 is enormous.
Yeah, on his day. I mean, again, look at his CV. He's got a brilliant strike rate and already captured numerous pieces of silverware. He should get the job done. Again, I'd rather be a watcher than a player. I think the flying element could be Gothic Kitty. If she was to get a smash break, I think she could ruffle a few feathers. But if Garfinny Blaze brings the A game, then yeah, he'll justify favouritism.
Yeah, interesting thoughts from Mark Wallace after that defeat. They obviously checked the dog over, couldn't find anything wrong with him at all. It was a dog that when he came over, I think they chucked him over the 8 bends at Oxford when the TV trophy was there and he didn't get home.
Mm.
But Mark now thinks that maybe this is a dog that does want a trip, and just with age, he's staying a bit stronger. So the 695 might just suit him as well. So he won't need to lead there. Burrows Eclipse will be looking to bang out as well, along with the 4. So yeah, it could set up nice for him. Look out for Art Riddler as well as a chasey type. Stick that one in your full cast and tri-cast. But yeah, Garfinny Blaze should get the job done. Right. The outright market is £20,000 up for grabs on Saturday night in the Premier Greyhound Racing Regency. Stamina is required here, 695 metres. Let's have a look at the market then. Evens, Mongies Wild with Labrooks and Coles first out the boxes with prices. Vigar 7-2, Romeo Empire 11-2, Garfinny Blaze 10s, 16s Bombay Nutty, 20 New in Cloud, 25 Bar. 5 of the first 6 here are trained by champion trainer Mark Wallace, owned by the MWD partnership. It's a bit of a domination, this market.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny market because I think everything's priced accordingly, to be truthful with you. I think the Mongies Wild Dog's going to take the world of beating around a track and trip that should be right up his street. But yeah, again, he's priced accordingly. And when you look at, there is strength in depth in the event, but I just think he's the type of dog that can go low at Hove. I think he can, like, the others are doing like their 41.60s and 70s. I think he's a 41.30 in Mongies all day long, Dave. So can any of the others get that low?
No, yeah, listen, I hear you. Evens for 3 runs about an absolute champion who we think has got lengths and lengths in hand. Yeah, I'm perhaps foolishly going to just be a little bit adventurous and throw a few each way darts out there, but I wouldn't put anyone off, steaming into Mongies Wild. I think he is the best dog we've seen over 6 bends in recent years. He can chuck in. It's a shame Droopy's Clue, that would have been a fascinating watch, wouldn't it? He's recently been retired, but twice a St Leger champion. Him banging out and seeing if Mongies Wild could fetch him in, that would have made fascinating viewing, but he's not here. So at prices, I've already talked her up. Tuano Bella, St Leger finest, 25-1. She might just, get to the final after banging out and making all, or trying to make all in heat and semi-final. Proper Dangerous is the same price as well. Again, I'll wave the Paul Donovan flags here, part of the fan club, but I just thought could be anything. And then one of the locals, a chasey type, but a type who stays very, very strongly. It's Swift Jarvis at 50-1, just purely on the place side of that bet. If he gets to the final, he's not the sort of dog that's going to finish last, is he? And Tony, I know we've spoken previously about this dog. He's the type that, the faster the company he keeps, the faster he'll run himself.
Yeah, exactly that. He might not be a prolific winner, but he's one of those dogs that he stays really well. And I think the faster he's in with, sometimes the better they perform. The only worry would be it's the first two to qualify format in the semi-finals. So first three format, yeah, you'd say got a very good chance of going deep. But at first two in the semis, that's a heartbreaker sometimes.
Right, well, that is the Regency. Let's move on to the £10,000 Coral Sussex Cup. It's one of the biggest races of the year, over 4 bends. The dog to beat, according to the market, 9-4 Jolly with sponsors Corals and Labrooks, is Proper Heiress, and he's the reigning Olympic champion, which is obviously over course and distance as well. Let's have a look at what he did in last year's Olympic. Trap 2, 29.49. Droopy's extra good in the stripes. Chelm's Bear, who of course is in this event as well, formerly known as Barntick Bear. He qualified. He finished third in the final. 2.65 here. This was the start of something special from Proper Heiress. We saw him win this, Tony. He won the Winter Derby at Monmore, and he, of course, won the Juvenile.
Yeah, no, was the Kent Plate in between as well, or if it escapes me? But yeah, this was the springboard for him to go on to bigger and better things. And again, he runs the track. He's got it all, this dog. He starts, he stays, he's got the middle gears. Obviously, didn't quite happen for him in the derby. I thought he looked something amiss in the first round, and then he did actually go out. But he's had a spell off. His 2 sprint trials at Toaster are very good, and his trial over course and distance is exceptional. And I think that he'll strut his stuff in this event. Again, I know there's a few decent types in there, but Proper Heiress posts times that others can't.
You're quite right. The Arena Racing Company Kent Plate in March is in there as well as a purple patch for him, Proper Heiress, and he is the dog to beat. You wouldn't bet against Mark when he's been winning both of these events, the champion trainer and Proper Heiress at 9-4. Gets Tony's vote. And do you know what? He's going to get my vote as well. It's great to see King Memphis back. He's on offer at 9-2. If you told me that we're going to see the best version of King Memphis, then I think he'd be challenging for favouritism. He might even be favourite himself. He's that good. But he's been off the card. It's great to see him back. Romeo Tomcat, Slick Sentinel in there at 6-1. Gary the Arb at 10s. Ballymac Kobe 16s alongside Chelm's Bear, Missile 1, Kilmore Dancer, the defending champion, Newin Benny, 20-1 bar. It is a star-studded field. But yeah, just to echo what Tony said, I think the favourite is head and shoulders above on what we know, with, of course, the fly in the ointment possibly being King Memphis. 2 votes for the favourite there. How boring, but we both think that Proper Heiress is going to score in this year's Coral Sussex Cup. Right, let's jump to Thursday night then. 3 semi-finals of the £12,500 Time Northern Flat. 8.19 is the first of them at Newcastle. Optic Pharaoh 12s, Bramble Elvis 12s, Hollyhill Pad 20s, Hardwick Mighty 11-2, Jack Tavern Chief, who was very impressive off the front, 5-4 in the first round, and Deliveroo second in at 6-4. This is just a case of, will early pace win the race again here, Tony, with trap 5?
Yeah, I was very impressed with him. I mean, obviously joined Glenn Foot after that event at Sunderland where he caught the eye. If Connections can bottle that exit, then they're going to have some fun with this Jack Tavern Chief, because he stays the distance really well. And I'm hoping this wasn't a flash in the pan. I think he can dish out further punishment here. I like Deliveroo. He's a nice dog and got a good record over course and distance in his own backyard. But if 5 can do what he did in the first round, the clock tells you that he'll have the edge.
Yeah, 2 votes for Jack Tavern Chief then in the first semi-final. 8.36 on Thursday night in semi-final number 2. Nyokra 5-2 in the red. Elusive No More is very impressive off the front in his heat. Of course, the Gymcrack winner as well. 7-2 in the blue. Droopy's Bookham 6-4, the anti-post Jolly. Salaker's Slick 10s. Hollyhill Gonzo H. Jack Tavern Lab at 10-1. Now, Will it be Elusive No More off the front again, or can Droopy's Booker reverse the form?
Well, I mean, if you're a Droopy's Bookham fan, you're hoping that Elusive No More does crack away. I mean, I'm hoping that a 475 split ain't on display again. You can't afford to get too detached, Droopy's Bookham, but I'm a little bit still. The jury's still out on his performances at Newcastle. I mean, he should be going a lot quicker than he has been, even when he beat unanimously, and like potentially could have probably gone a bit quicker for a dog of his talent. But I think that he's still the dog to beat on the basis that it could be a troublesome race, and any trouble up front is only going to play into the hands of Droopy's Bookham, Dave.
Yeah, it feels and sounds like you're in the same place as me, in which you probably don't. You're not mad keen on backing Droopy's Bookham at 6-4, but it doesn't quite sit right plumbing for something else to beat him.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think qualification, I think connections, anyone to take second spot, you're in the final and anything can happen. But I'd just like to see him just do a little bit of quicker times than he has. His overall clockings, compared to what we saw the dog do at Toaster, don't equate to Newcastle.
Yeah, well, he is a star with a big engine, so maybe we'll see that on Thursday night. Derby semi-finals, Droopy's Bookham there. Let's move to semi-final number 3, the 8:54 unanimous Leon, 4-6 in the red. Trooper McAvoy 16, Slingshot Shaz 2-1, Dunelm Dragon 8, 5 is vacant, and 6 is Jacko's Bono. Now, first and foremost, Slingshot Sam was meant to be in trap 5 here. Sadly, passed after going fastest in the opening round. So, thoughts with connections there. Phil Donaldson getting the story in the Racing Post there of absolute heartbreak after doing the business. So, I'm hoping, Tony, that Slingshot Shaz can do the business here. It would be quite fitting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. I mean, he was a very good dog, the Slingshot Sam. I mean, very, very fast, and would have been a big leading contender on what he done in the first round. And make no mistake, Freezer's quick when everything clicks, but he's not been the most consistent at the boxes. He's suffered succession of odds-on defeats in recent weeks, and with unanimous Leon, you know you've got a dog that's Mr. Consistent, reliable. Even off a misbreak, he's going to pace up really well. That was a blowout for him last time out. That was his first competitive start in a while. He did the job well, and I think he's going to come on a bundle. I think he wins the early battle and just stays out in front, Dave.
Yeah, so do I. I'm really, really strong. I'm a little bit disappointed he's as short as 4-6 with Labrooks and Corals, because he would have been an all-in job for me. I think he'll strip fitter for that outing. A dog that is classy enough to already have a Cat 1 to his name. He's been to a few Cat 1 finals, and I think he'll march on to another one. So 2 votes for the Red Jacket in semi-final number 3 of the Northern Flat. Right, here's that time. Best bet of the week then, Tony. 2 massive nights of action on the Premier Greyhound Racing Service this week. Thursday night at Newcastle, Northern Flat and Angel of the North semi-finals. And 2 massive competitions kicking off at Hove on Saturday night. The Premier Greyhound Racing Regency and the Coral Sussex Cup. You can go anywhere you like for the best bet of the week. Where are we off to?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Hove, you got plenty of odds on, long odds on shots. So I'm going to be at Newcastle, and I'm with Jack Tavern Chief in that first semi-final of the Northern Flat in the 8:19. I was very taken by the run in the first round. The time was there. He demolished the opposition. It wasn't like it was chaos in behind. He put the pace to the race and done it to the opposition. Obviously, Deliveroo's a threat, but I think at 5-4, Jack Tavern Chief, I think he's worthy of carrying a nap, Dave.
Tony's off to Newcastle on Thursday night. I'm going to go to the South Coast on Saturday night, and I'm going to go with Chelm's Bear, the artist formerly known as Barntick Bear. He's not landed in the warmest of Sussex Cup heats. I think he's got the defending champion Newin Benny in there, who's got the early pace to cut loose. But when I look at the opposition and then I look at the fact that this dog is odds against, I just think, he made up a hell of a lot of ground in that 3 steps to victory final. With daylight, this dog is going to be almost impossible to beat here. So at the prices, 5-4 currently available. Chelm's Bear, yes please, in his Coral Sussex Cup heat. That's the 8:59 at Hove on Saturday. Tony, as ever, it's been an absolute pleasure. Strap yourselves in if you're watching this week. 2 massive nights of action on the Premier Greyhound Racing Service. Do remember to get involved with us. Jump in the comments, like and comment, subscribe, the whole shebang here on the Racing Post YouTube channel. There's loads going on this week. And remember to catch all the action behind the red button on Sky Sports Racing or on the PGR website. Enjoy the racing this week, of course. Gamble responsibly, and we'll see you next week.